a service of CNC Worldwide.
The Daily is a service of CNC News, brought to you by the Greece Chamber of Commerce, providing more than 800 area companies with business solutions since 1984. I'm Bud Lowell. Your full AccuWeather forecast is right across the top of all CNC local news pages. The company buying Bausch & Lomb plans to move its headquarters out of Rochester. It will also cut 10 to 15% of its combined workforce once the deal goes through, making many of those reductions, if not most, from the ranks of B&L's management. Valeant Pharmaceuticals expects to save more than $800 million by 2014. Valeant is based in Montreal. It's buying Bausch & Lomb Holdings for $8.7 billion, subject to regulatory approvals, which are expected by August. A letter to employees of both companies filed with the federal regulators said Valeant plans to make these savings without any reductions in the Bausch & Lomb North American field force. That means it will continue operating all the Rochester manufacturing facilities, but it has chosen to locate its U.S. headquarters in New Jersey instead of Rochester, where Bausch & Lomb has been based since 1853. Valeant's top corporate offices, of course, will remain in Montreal. In its filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission, Valeant said the combined company would have fewer than 100 people in its top corporate staff. That will include some of the current Bausch & Lomb executives. Valeant has about 7,000 employees, Bausch & Lomb about 11,000 worldwide. The Rochester School Board has voted to close School 44 on Chili Avenue, but it has left parents wondering about when. The Board of Education approved a resolution closing the school, but left the date open-ended. District administrators say it's because School 16 is closed for renovations. They can't say when School 44 should close until they know when 16 will reopen. Both schools serve southwest Rochester. Some of the school commissioners expressed reservations, but the resolution passed. These changes are part of the citywide school facilities modernization plan. A committee of the Monroe County Legislature has voted down a proposal for a county animal abuser registry. The proposal from Rochester Democrat Willie Joe Lightfoot would have required anyone convicted of animal abuse to register with the county and pay $100 a year. They would have been prohibited from owning a dog, cat, or horse for 10 years on a first offense and life on the second. Republicans raised questions about enforceability of such a law, and they said anyone who wanted to violate it could just go get a pet from another county. The measure failed on a 3-2 party line vote. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office believes a medical issue may have been to blame for a fatal crash Monday in Chili. Leonard Hodges was driving on Scottsville Road with his wife Cynthia in the car when he lost consciousness. The car went off the road and hit a tree. Cynthia Hodges died at the scene. Leonard Hodges was taken to Strong Memorial Hospital for treatment of his injuries. Both of them are 72. Several state lawmakers have joined with other area officials in a working group to examine the intersection of Route 36 and North Road. That's where the 3 young people from Caledonia were killed in a crash earlier this month. State Senator Patrick Gallivan, who represents the town of Wheatland, says they are working to understand the accident history of the intersection with an eye to making it as safe as possible as soon as possible. Gallivan said Caledonia police have a long history of dealing with car accidents at this intersection. He said they are looking at the accident records and the recent safety improvements made by the state last year. Serving with Gallivan, who is a former state trooper and Erie County Sheriff, is Assemblyman Bill Nojay. Also on the panel are Monroe County Transportation and Fire officials, the superintendent of the CalMum schools, plus fire and highway officials from the town of Wheatland. United States Senator Kirsten Gillibrand toured upstate New York Monday, announcing a new bipartisan effort to clean up so-called brownfields so they can be reused. These are former industrial lands or other land contaminated with leftover chemicals or substance like asbestos from their former uses. It's one of the reasons developing a former farm field is cheaper than an abandoned factory site in a city. Senator Gillibrand said Congress let the federal brownfields program lapse in 2006. She stood with Congresswoman Louise Slaughter and Mayor Tom Richards at the former Cunningham Carriage factory site in Rochester. Gillibrand said her bill would provide federal grants to be matched by state and local dollars to clean up and ready these old industrial sites for new development. The historic Denzel Carousel at Ontario Beach Park is turning again thanks to the generosity of a company in California. Brass Ring Entertainment of Sun Valley, California, contacted Monroe County Parks officials after owner Dan Horenberger read the 108-year-old Rochester carousel had broken down. The Ontario Beach Carousel was idled at the end of June by a broken cast iron drive gear. County officials had expected they would have to have that part custom made by a foundry, but Brass Ring Entertainment had the original part on hand from another Denzel carousel of 1905 vintage. They sent the part, and the carousel is back in action, noon to 9 p.m. for the rest of the summer. To the left of the player window, you'll find links to these and other stories. At the bottom of the page, links you can use to post what you know directly to us. The next news podcast is As It Happens. Updates are as necessary. And I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.